6023 Show.
Welcome, everyone, to this week on the 6873 Show. We are actually going to be having After Dark, Ghost Tales, Paranormal, and the Afterlife. So stick with us. I think it's going to be an awesome show. Starting the line here, we have... Yeah, that's you.
Introduce
Why did you
yourself.
start with
Yeah,
me?
you first.
Yeah, it's me, Anubis. It's good to see you again. And we have here...
Of course, Ren. And over here we have...
Melon, and we have Toki, and this lovely guy is
Rossi!
And as you probably can see, we are missing two cast members. Ion
We ate them.
had to go to a family gathering. Congratulations to your brother, honey. And Guild also had to go to a different kind of family gathering. We're not going to specify that. Let's just leave it at that. They're fine. They're going to be on to the next show. And until then, we have Mel and we have Anubis curring back because we literally kidnapped him in here, so he just had to follow. So,
Daddy did it.
today we're going to talk about, as you probably can see by the environment we're in, ghost stories, well, encounters, and the afterlife.
Spooky, spooky.
Exactly. So, without further ado, let's get started. Who here has a good ghost story, encounter, or anything they want to share?
Well, start with
Rossi?
hell one.
That'd be you. You're shinier than I am.
I got a personal one. It was actually growing up where I was growing up. I'm not going to specify where.
On Earth.
There was a on Earth, yes, on Earth.
Third
and
rock from the
in
sun.
Britain. Yeah, third rock from the sun in Britain. Because I'm British. Anyway. There was a pub, a local pub nearby, and there was always stories about a lady in white, and they always called her the White Lady, which is quite a common ghost name when that thing happens, which I've noticed. But I actually saw this one. What it was a family, not a family friend, sorry, a friend of mine. Their family lived in this pub and ran the pub. And it was always said that if you look out the window, they had a what they always called it the wasteland, but it wasn't actually a wasteland. It was just like a patch of green that was trees
Marsh.
all torn down and things like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was just literally just beyond the pub's car park. And it was said that late at night you'll see, at certain times of the night, you'll see this white lady. And the story is apparently there was a lady who was murdered in that area, and apparently she was one of the original landladies of the pub, and she was allegedly brutally murdered by her. She was allegedly brutally murdered by her husband, and after some, we don't know the full story, like some kind of altercation of some kind that he did something. She confronted him and he killed her and buried allegedly
my.
buried her in this area. But it's never been proven that he buried her there or that it actually happened.
You never
But anyway,
found a body?
not that I know of. But anyway, yeah, I actually did see this spectral white lady walking across the green, well, not the green, sorry, the wasteland as they called it.
Mm.
It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, We were both, me and my friend were both sat out waiting because we'd heard the story, obviously, and he lived there, and he said, "Oh, I've never actually tried watching for it." And like that, we said, "Oh, well, sod it, we'll stay up late and watch it."
Yeah.
And we did. We saw. I'm pretty sure we saw something. As I say, I don't know if it actually was what we saw, but we definitely saw something. Whether it was just, I don't know, something in the mist blowing across, but we definitely saw what looked like a lady with a white dress, all white, just glide across.
Oh, that's
And when we saw that, it was
cool.
like, holy shit!
Yeah, that is cool. It kind of reminds me of a story here in the
Runaway Bride.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does kind of remind me of a story here. There's a small little, it's in a small gambling town in Nevada, and this hotel is way over 100 years old. And there was tail back because Nevada used to actually have prostitution and stuff, and there was this one room that this one lady was killed in, and from that day on till today, you'll actually see her walking up and down the staircase. And they've gotten photos of her,
Damn.
everything, walking up and down the staircase. And there's one person even seen her, thought it was actually a real person because she manifests so completely.
Solidly.
And yeah, solidly. Like he honestly thought he was talking to a real person. And asked for her name, and she gave her name, and then just in front of him vanished.
Yeah, that actually kind of reminds me of
Sure.
something as well when I watched, because even on YouTube, I follow a lot of people on YouTube who do a lot of paranormal stuff. There's one that I do follow, and they do provide evidence, they capture it, and even they said that that channel wasn't supposed to include stuff like that, but their viewers requested it, said like, why don't you do something like this as like a challenge thing, and they got into it and they started going to these locations, and it's all self-funded. They all self-fund themselves to do it. But the amazing thing is that one time they went to this somewhere in America, but it was like this family bar, and they started to split up into a group. So one of them went into a different area, one of them went upstairs to the rooms that they have as well upstairs in this family kind of bar pub kind of thing. And one of them went into the bathroom where allegedly there is a male kind of domination spirit in there that attacks people. So when they go to the cubicle, when they finish, or they finish at the urinal, they go to wash their hands. And when they're washing their hands, and the customers say that when they look up into the mirror, they see this figure standing behind them, and they start getting attacked. And they come up with marks, scratches, and bruises. So one of them went in there on their own, and he was doing a recording, trying to get something, and then lo and behold, he had to stop recording, but didn't fully stop the recording. But he had to say to a person outside the door of the bathroom, because he said someone was there, standing there, asking what you're doing, why you're here. And you can see on the recording, it's actually talking to someone, like someone was actually standing there. And then the next second, he went back inside, and then he's like, wait, there's only three of us, so who's this person I was just talking to? So then he got onto the radio with the other, saying, look, I think we have to stop it because someone's here. So they went all looking around everywhere for this person to say that we're doing a recording, but because of this, we have to stop now because it's kind of proved that something's happened, that it's down by human hands. So they was looking for this person, they couldn't find him. They could not find him whatsoever, and the doors were still locked. So the person who spoke to this, I was like, I couldn't even tell if that was an actual ghost or spirit or not, because they were just standing there. I could see them with my own eyes. They had a face, hands, arms, clothes, everything, smell. They had everything. and for them to just disappear while we're looking for them, and it's just us three at this area doing an investigation, is kind of. It said it shook him to the core. It said it completely shook him to the core, and he couldn't focus, and he just couldn't believe he hasn't experienced anything like this. This is something he said that it was on a different level. So were you just saying there how it seems that the spirits are now able to get more in tune with the energy? Depends how long they've been away and how long they've been trying to reach out or gather their energy. It seems now they're trying to mimic the life that they once had and try and actually communicate like normal people.
Well, I've noticed with, in fact, I was even reading this one thing, and a lot of people do investigations, that a lot of people who, especially those who die traumatic deaths, or not even always a traumatic death, but people who die around an area that they have a close attachment with, a lot of these spirits, for the most part, either can't let go of their life here, or a lot of times they aren't really understanding what's happening because they've shed their physical body, but they're still there, so they don't really realize that they've crossed the veil, that they are without a body, that they're dead. And so it's confusing to them why people can't interact with them, all this other stuff. They simply haven't realized yet that they're no longer on this particular plane of existence.
Actually,
it's
talking
kind
about
of
when you
really-
say, oh, sorry, continue.
It's actually kind of like really tough to be in that sort of position, because if you really think about it, like I used to tell Toki that sometimes when I'm sleeping, sometimes I end up traveling. So my body is here where I am.
An
but my
OBE out of body
conscience
experience.
goes somewhere else. Like it comes out of me and goes somewhere else. And this is rare times it happens, but I end up riding on people or riding animals, which means that's my term of saying that I enter their bodies and I can see what they see through their eyes, their feelings, and whatever they feel by physical, their emotions, their mental state, and see through their eyes. So in the terms of like putting that perspective of someone who's in manifesting as a spirit, or someone who's passed away and they just can't let go of their life and they're trapped, stuck on Earth. I wasn't able to communicate, so I was able to understand now, kind of like in retrospect, that if I can do something like that now, I can understand how sometimes they can't communicate, they don't have that power. The rules, they don't know how to manifest, they don't know how to manipulate the energy around them. It's kind of difficult to actually think of themselves in that position when until the only way you're going to do it is when you're in that position. And I hope I just go straight up there or straight down there.
Well, actually, that was
Well, I think
like the
that-
first episode you were on with us, where you helped me out with that male spirit that wouldn't move on. He wouldn't like let go. And he has actually not returned ever since, but it's also gone the other way around, where you had asked me for help, which I'm like, what can I do? And I don't know if it's okay that I mention this, but about your
It's
mother. Fine. So Anubis asked me for help. His mother has been experiencing bruising on her body, like really severe bruising. And he sent me pictures of it, and one of them actually looked like a small hand, well, not hand, but fingers, trying to grab her thigh really, really badly. And he asked, I don't know what this is. It's like, it's attacking her. I don't know what to do. And I said, well, let me see. And try to focus really hard. He gave me a description of how everything looks. And I'm getting chills now, so she's probably around. Ugh. But it's a little lady with like really greasy hair hanging down, and she's like really, really emaciated. That was what came into my mind. And she is so angry. I don't know why, but she's just angry. And for some reason at his mother. And I don't know if it's because she thinks he's invading her space or that she doesn't belong there, but it has occurred again, right? It stopped a little bit after that.
Yeah, it stopped after I put in some temporary things to help. So I did some workings and I put up some protection runes, and it did help. It did stop, and it's after a while, something amazingly did happen. And I was walking back to my mum's bedroom to check up on her because it's my job, and I noticed that the protection room was cut in half. Like someone just went along and just went on it. So I asked like the people who are with me, who live with me. So there's me, my uncle, and my mum. My mum said no, she hasn't touched it because it's important. My uncle said he hasn't touched it, no, because it's there for a reason. And I haven't touched it because I always go for the bloody handle. You have to open it by the handle, and I put it right up here. The handle's down here, the symbol's up here. So I'm thinking like, what? So then that's when my mum said, saying it's getting worse. Like and at some point, she started getting scratches as well. And I'm like, could this thing have broken that seal, that protection seal? Has it found a way to find its own power to break it? And that's when things are starting to get more steadily worse. Because now my mum's cat, and after the seal broke, he wouldn't go into the hallway. He would just sit there. As soon as you open that door, he usually runs out and goes into the hallway. But he won't. He'll just, once that door's open, and if you leave it open, he'll jump down at the door frame, just sit in the middle of the door frame and looking out, staring out into the hallway. And then in the next minute, when I was talking to my mum, he went out into the hallway, but he stalked with his tail up, flicking, going like this. I was like, he's investigating. You probably saw something he's investigating. And then that's I saw he went into the kitchen, and then all of a sudden he just came running past my feet with his fur on end, and I'm like, the fuck happened to
You
you?
can see more than we can.
Yeah, and then that's when I looked down to the hallway, and all I saw was this black figure, like full-on black figure in robes, come out of the kitchen and going towards my door, and I'm like,
Damn.
That's not her.
really? Damn it!
That's not her.
Someone different.
That's not her.
No, that is someone new, and they've not done anything. But she, I think what's happened is that this new being that I probably saw has kind of, made her wary. But I did place
Yeah.
her somewhere that I did a massive work in. Like when I took that break for a while, that's when I did a massive work. It took me about 3 days just to perfect it. And then what I did was I did an upwards cleanse. So what I did was I started from the ground up. So I make sure I memorize the whole floor, and then I spread out my own energy to limit onto this floor, ground level, and then make it rise upwards. So whatever it was would be trapped in like this bubble and then envelop around it, so it can guide it where I need it to go into. And then that's when I put a seal in the ceiling. I was like, right, you're staying up there now.
Well, it's something too because there was when I was growing up. There's yes.
He's big, isn't he?
Yeah, he was literally the same height as the door. All I just see was this black figure in robes. I couldn't see the face. And so I'm walking that way. So my kitchen door's here. My bedroom door's here.
Oh.
So it's like this on an angle. And he just went, and I'm like,
I
Just
got
for reference,
chills.
a typical British internal door is roughly 6 foot high.
Exactly. And I'm like, it wasn't me just seeing it. My uncle said that when he was coming back upstairs, and the door, so the kitchen door was slightly open, and then he saw it move, and it like closed. It's like about this way open, and it just went like someone pushed it, like just little nods, like I'm in here. So he went into the kitchen to take a look, poke his head in to take a look, and to make sure that the window was closed because he thought the window was open. So he took a look at the window was closed. There was no drafts, no nothing. And then this door closed. So when he went back out, he went down to the bathroom. And then when he was done in the bathroom, he came out the bathroom. And he saw the door move again, but this time he saw something like someone was looking through. And then, woof, gone. And he said that to me, and it's like... So whatever it is, it's in the kitchen, coming in and out of the kitchen.
I think it was one of yours. Did you have that connection?
I only said now. You never mentioned like he or she.
That's what I
But
kind
you
of said.
acknowledged that I said he.
I acknowledged it now.
It's not one of. It's not mine. It's a whole different, calmer energy. It's like I am here. I'm not gonna do anything, but I am here. Acknowledge me. But it's a like eerie kind of calm. I know I can easily be making this up, but this is literally I'm going by feeling. Okay, I could easily make this up. I know that, and there's probably gonna be people in the comments saying that. But I have literally every hair on my arms are like up right now, and because as soon as that it just went.
Like,
but it's gone
I
now.
can tell you one experience that Turkey helped me with, and this was just a normal gathering of all of us as friends. Like we just hang out, and all of a sudden I just got this hot flush, and then I recognized that this came out of nowhere. Like, this is not mine. This is not my feeling. This is just hot flush. I'm getting way too warm. And then my leg just started going. Like, no one else could tell. Like, I don't have full body tracking like this one here does. But my leg was going like this. It was going mad up and down. Toki noticed that something's wrong because I said, Toki, something's not right. Something's here with me. And then she said, your leg's going crazy. He's going up and down, is it? And I said, yeah. And she's just like, so I can tell you, Toki can feel things. She can. That's why I helped her. She's not under my wings. I'm guiding her so she can learn to get control of this new kind of sensation because it's difficult. It is difficult to master and control because sometimes it just goes. But even most ghost hunters, they'll tell you your feelings are the best things that can give you the proof that you need.
Okay, then a story from Denmark. So this is about a girl that her father owns this castle. This was back in the day. And she had fallen in love with a Swedish soldier that was not that far away in a camp. And every night they met, and of course they grew more and more in love. But she had a very strict father, so he kept a very close eye on her all the time. So one night they decide, okay, the next night we're gonna escape together and we're just gonna get out of here. And she managed to escape the castle and actually run down to where they're supposed to meet. And she waits and nothing happened. He didn't show up or anything. She's like, I don't know. Maybe I don't love him. Maybe he doesn't love me anymore. And she waited all night, and unfortunately, sobbing, she had to go back. Before this, what she didn't know was the soldier actually had taken his horse right across the fields, and his horse got stuck in a big mud pool. Unfortunately, with him in it, as they slowly drowned to death. So that's why he didn't show up. As she comes back, she's confronted by her dad, who literally tried to beat an answer out of her. Like, what did you do? Who were you with? And she had to admit it. And then he violates her and actually chokes her to death. She's also called the White Lady. That's why I wanted to say the White Lady of... I'm gonna write down the name in the description below because I just quickly searched this up. But that, again, a tragic love story, and she's manifesting sometimes on where she... like a tragic death. Where she got killed by her own father. But that time, it was like either you stick by the rules and we float.
Sorry.
We have a ghost.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. That was not me.
All right. If anybody has an Oculus S, the Rift S, they might understand when it decides to spaz out to the point where the Guardian, for some reason, is like 5 feet lower than the ground. And so when I'm standing, it shoots me straight up into the air.
Yeah, that happens
Cat
to me.
ghost
I'm on a quest
stories.
with just a link cable. Sometimes it happens.
So Ren, we interrupted you a lot. Please tell your story.
Oh, it wasn't just. It was kind of an observation because it's not all these people who are in these stories are people who passed on. I think some come from, let's just say, another place because in Utah when I was growing up, I grew up in a very haunted haunted house, and it was a very, very, very old home, and it was not someone who passed on there, but it was a spirit that was definitely dark and evil. I remember trying to go to bed in my room and having this creature that it looked like it was almost like a body that had been left out in the sun for a couple of weeks just pop up and look at me. And I remember going through the living room alone, and all of a sudden it would just start raining spiders, just literally raining spiders. And my grandfather, who was an elder in our church, he did a cleansing on the house, but that house was occupied by a very, very dark spirit. So it's almost like they are trying to cause people to be stuck here on this plane. So it's almost like this power balance and stuff. So it's really interesting to try to discover what's really going on behind here. What's the play here. Another thing too, this would actually be a good question for our viewers out there. Tell us your ghost stories and your encounters and stuff like that. And a lot of this is the afterlife and stuff, because every one of us here has seen and actually had interactions with something on the other side. Knowing that or having experienced that, do you actually believe in an afterlife? And if so, what? We want to hear your responses to that.
And actually, to reply that, I have a beautiful thing that I have not told a lot of people. So when my grandfather died, it was really, really tough for everyone. And we had like a little private ceremony when we had to put him in the casket. And as we put on the casket and sealed it, a little white butterfly came by. We didn't take too much notice to it. But a year after that or something like that, I was helping my grandmother out, and my mom was there too, and my grandmother. And all of a sudden, while I think I was mowing grass or something, I was just taking a break. A little white butterfly came and sat on my head for a solid minute, like being my grandfather. Are you doing this right? I need to see if you're doing this right. And that kind of stuck with me. So when my grandfather's sister was dying of cancer, she came over and she said her last goodbye to us. She lived pretty far away. A white butterfly came into their driveway, just above her. Every now and then I see 2 white butterflies. And when my premature born nephew died, a sparrow was actually sitting near his grave just looking at us. Like, and really just focusing on us, not moving. Until we said goodbye and it flew away.
Well, it's funny you should say that too, because spirits being with you and stuff. My grandmother had told me this, that when her aunt died, I think it was her aunt, passed on. She said the day after she passed on, she actually came back as a spirit and spent a half hour talking with my grandmother, saying, what was going on, I'm be fine, this is what I want done afterwards and stuff, and basically said their final goodbyes, and then says, that you won't see me until you cross the veil again.
No.
But they spent a half hour together in her room talking.
Yeah, my grandfather had a weird goodbye.
That
Rusty.
That actually reminds me of a situation when my grandma passed away. She actually, bless her, she held on. This is when my daughter was only like 2 years old, and she held on. Bearing in mind she was dying, she was in a hospital bed in her living room because she didn't want to go into her home or anything like that. And she held on until she saw my daughter, so it'd be her great granddaughter, before she passed. And there was after she passed, there was one particular night where we could hear my daughter talking. And we were like, what the hell? What's going on? And we actually, both me and my wife were quite concerned. What's going on? Who's she talking to? And we went into...
Who's in my daughter's room?
Exactly, yeah. So we rushed in there. There was no one in there. But my daughter was sat up. We were like, who are you talking to? And she said, I'm talking to great-grandma. Although obviously not clearly coherently saying like that, but bearing in mind she was only like 2 years old, but it was, G Mama. And we were like, what the hell, and yeah, it was just bloody hell, because, as I say, because she's not talking clearly, she was like a few little words and things like that, but we could hear what you could consider as a comment. And we just went in, and she's talking to great grandma, and it's like, holy shit, yeah.
But it's funny how often that actually happens, especially with the next generation. And I've heard so many stories where like the grandparents, stuff like that, will come back and actually visit, even sometimes in advanced ages too. Come back in advance and saying, I'm proud of you, you're the next generation.
I tried that with my grandmother. She actually tucked me in saying, don't worry, it's gonna be alright. I'm watching over you. And she tucked like the duvet around my arms and down. And I'm like, that was a weird dream. When I woke up, I couldn't move my arms. The duvet was tucked around me that hard. So I'm like,
it's kind of something
hi.
too. It's not just, I've noticed it's not just, family people that do that. I've actually had
pets.
Some pets that have passed on that, you grow such a bond with them that I've had pets after they passed on a day later come back and like will crawl into your lap. And all of a sudden just poof, you look down, they're gone.
Well, that's their last goodbye. So.
Mhm.
Anyway, before everything becomes a sob story, please share your ghost encounters with us. Do you believe in the afterlife? And I think before we round off, does anybody have any last little something they want to add?
The way
Not on
you
the
Well, we
said that
subject.
haven't
about,
heard from Melanie from a while.
yeah, the way you said that about the pet thing. I had a
Mhm.
cat. She did not live that long, probably because when we moved back to the middle of nowhere, Cotton Fields, California,
Mhm.
she ran away, being terrified because she used to be a suburb kitty. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, we found her a few weeks later. She got sick with the kitty leukemia. So she passed
Ah.
away.
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
Mm.
pardon my language, but I shit you not. Every night I would go to bed and I'd leave my door open a little so that she could jump on my bed, and sometimes that would wake me. So I'm
Mhm.
dead asleep, and then I feel the vibration of her jumping on my bed, and I sit straight up and I'm looking around for her, but I don't see her. So
But you felt that, yeah, like
You felt that.
she
Yeah.
jumped up. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Still
They
there.
usually come to me in my dreams,
Mm.
so it's
Mhm.
kind of weird how different it can occur to people.
Hmm.
this avatar is inspired by her fur. She was a tuxedo cat. Yeah.
Aw.
Kitty cat. Anyway, just so we don't record a whole movie, should we say that was it for this time?
Yeah, I think that was a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, I think that's
So-
good.
But before we
I mean,
end,
it was good.
Mhm.
Ye-
It was good being here again. I do enjoy being on here and every again.
yes,
love
Yeah,
having
we
you on
always
here as
enjoy
well.
having you on the show.
I'm their residential witch and amongst other things. So, if you want to see the 6873 show delve more into the paranormal side and of this world, then
Spooky,
leave the
spooky.
comments down in below, and hopefully, possibly in the future, you might see us all gathered. Maybe do a paranormal investigation one time at some point in the future. Who
That would be
knows?
fun.
Ooh.
Hmm.
I've got a
That'd
few
be
places
awesome.
already lined up in my mind where it could be. We got a famous where I live. We got some few famous spots of paranormal stuff happening, and
Oh, I
who
would
knows?
love that.
Maybe it might happen. Maybe do an investigation, and if it is, then I will see you there.
Leave us your comments. Do you want us to do
Yes.
actual IRL investigations? Because I know a bunch of places around here. In fact, where I'm at right now. The canyon areas are known
Just-
for.
Mm.
So does that mean we're going to be doing possibly a face reveal?
Oh,
Dun,
dun,
I mean, you don't want to see this ugly face.
dun.
Trust me, you don't want to see this ugly mug. It'll break the camera.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would. I've seen it.
Hush your mouth.
Of course,
Just,
of course.
just to give you a heads up, I look like Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool.
You mean the before or after version?
The after, when he looks like a giant
Ah.
testicle.
Make sure you bring your leather.
Anyway. Oh, Rossi the Great, give us the word of
Or wisdom.
Oh, my words of wisdom. Well, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, actually, an apple a day will keep anyone away if you throw it hard enough.
True enough. True enough.
So that's why the tree dropped the apple on his head.
Yes,
Exactly.
theories, my friends. Theories. Anyway, remember to support us on our Patreon. Like, share, subscribe. Go in on our TikTok. Also, we have an Instagram account now. Go into
Dun, dun, dun.
Mina's GoFundMe as well. And thank Thank you to our sponsor, Lone Paw Coffee. Go in on lonepawcoffee.com. Check out our merch store, and you know the drill. Please show us all your love.
Coffee.
And to all the potato chips,
Coffee.
take care. Be
Did
safe.
you mention the Patreon?
I did!
Oh, you did? Oh,
You weren't
sorry.
listening.
I'm a deaf old bugger.
We are
sorry.
starving. We need money.
Where Ion needs his crayons.
Yes. And JD of all needs her crackers. So,
Mhm.
anyway, to all the potato
Just
chips out
coffee
there,
for me.
take care. Be safe. Watch out for ghosts. Lots of love. Bye.
Toodle and the pip.
Bye.
Ooh. They're coming!
Brains. Potato.
The British are coming.
Hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please hit that like button. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to our Patreon, when everything will be down in the description. Thank you. Tatty bye.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My cheeks are hurting. Come on, and not those. Please tell me you're recording all of this. Yes. TikTok, here we come.
He's trying to vote about himself.